And now we are joined by Juan Fernando Lopez Aguilar. He is the chair of the European Parliament's Committee on Civil Liberties, Justice and Home Affairs. Thank you for joining us. We've just heard the situation in MORIA is serious and it looks like it's politically created to keep migrants away, to scare them off. Is that official EU policy now?
Absolutely. We had a debate just today in the European Parliament. It's been said a million times. This tragedy was predictable and was announced throughout the debates in the Libe Committee. It's absolutely intolerable. It's unacceptable that there has been 30,000, then 20,000, now 13,000 people completely homeless, with no sanitation facilities, with no roof, with no access to medicines. It's absolutely incompatible with European values, as it is incompatible the narrative which allegates that migrants are a threat to the European security or to the European identity. There has to be a more humane approach, which is precisely what we have been asking for all along the way. We are waiting for a so-called new pact on migration and asylum, which is a whole new package of pieces of legislation. But one thing is sure, the European Parliament stands for binding solidarity, as it is proclaimed in the Lisbon Treaty, shared responsibility, European search and rescue, and, of course, legal pathways so that those who are addressing the European Union do not have to risk their lives by exposing themselves to the illicit trafficking of human beings with these catastrophic results that we have seen.
Well, the committee that you personally chair is responsible for persuading member governments to, at long last, agree to a common policy towards dealing with migrants. Looks like you haven't achieved much, have you?
The committee which I chair is the heaviest workload when it comes to lawmaking in this European Parliament. And this European Parliament is a lawmaking house. We have actually made laws on migration. We have actually made laws on asylum. But you know what? There's an increasing number of member states flagrantly violating European law. And of course, they violate the Reception Conditions Directive and the Asylum Procedure Directive and the Qualifications Directive when they practice pushbacks or they deny human rights in the external borders of the European Union.
Okay, but
of
who
course,
are these? Who are these member states that violate
asking
these?
Compliance. Well, all member states who do practice massive pushbacks in the external borders of the European Union with disregard of the Geneva Convention and the European law on asylum and migration, they are violating European law. And well, there have been allegations that that is the case not only in Croatia, in Greece, in the external borders. But the point I'm making is that it is not enough to ask the member states who have vulnerable borders of the European Union behaving and respecting European law. It takes also solidarity from the rest, because one thing is sure, it's absolutely unacceptable that those countries who do have external borders to the European Union, like it is the case of Greece, Malta, Cyprus, Italy and Spain, with thousands arriving to the Canary Islands from the Western African coast, feel that they have been left on their own, that they have been left alone facing all the responsibilities of the problem. There has to be a shared responsibility, and that shared responsibility and solidarity is a mandate of the Treaty of Lisbon. It's not a wishful thinking, it's a legal mandate.
How can you, asking for solidarity is one thing, can't you force them?
The whole of the European Union has to respond. The Commission has to launch infringement procedures, and it has. The European Court of Justice has convicted those countries who denied shared responsibility when it came to relocation programs. For instance, Poland and Hungary, which have been convicted for denying the Visegrad Group, the notorious Visegrad Group, denying all shared responsibility, not accepting a single person being relocated to their territory when it is a mandate that they have to be part of the relocation programs because they are binding law of the European Union.
Juan Fernando Lopez Aguilar, chair of the European Parliament's Committee on Civil Liberties, Justice and Home Affairs. Thank you very much for joining us on DW News today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.